Hello, everybody. My name is Frigid Hyperion. Welcome back to the Wilds of Wildemount. This being session 8. Today is a little bit different. As usual, we have Quinn as Anemo, myself as Moonzic, Rocky as Edward, and Kale as Brom. Unfortunately, Kyle and Lily are unable to join us today, but we do have a special guest with us here today. Emily, if you would do the honors.
Drum roll, please. Ooh. Welcome, Dawn, to the table.
Hello.
Wait, Don.
Thunderous
Don-
applause.
Okay, I cast Thunderclap. I actually don't have that yet. If I could, I would.
Or session
So
7,
Dawn will be
excuse me,
joining
I'm
us
sorry.
at some point during the session, which we'll try to get to as quickly as possible. Don't worry. The session that I have planned should not take all of your time. So at the end of tonight's episode, you should have plenty of time to go mingling about shops and do whatever the hell you want to do.
All right.
But yeah. Last time we had arrived in Port Damali, where we requisitioned, I suppose, maybe that's not the proper word, the body of Captain Three Earrings to the Clovis Concord, and were told not to leave the city for 3 days while they get everything in order for a essentially what you presume is some sort of trial to be held for the other members of your crew. Edward had gone to the archive, the library, and research a little bit more about some of the legal procedures going on with that, and hopefully will help give the crew an edge in this upcoming trial. Besides that, you know that without leaving the city, you've got 3 days to meander about and do what you will, and maybe adventure will find you.
Interesting.
So, thank you.
Okay.
Not too shabby, Port and I. Could be worse though. Could be better.
I mean, the 3's not bad.
He's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, sure, we've had worse.
It's also had better.
Well, actually, the way Port and I work, it's okay to get low. Like, you want low most of the time.
Actually, low would be better in combat.
You're getting them out of the way.
No. When you roll a low number, you can force an enemy to make a save with the low number, and then you could basically automatically make them fail a save. So that's why it's so powerful, right? Like, if you hold person, and then you say, I'm going to replace your wisdom roll with a 2, right? Suddenly, now they're paralyzed, and the entire team gets crits. So, that's that, right?
True.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. My crunching was really loud, I noticed.
No, it wasn't.
It's in your name, it's okay.
So, you guys are currently on the ship. We're going to kind of fast forward a little bit here. There was a courier who came by the ship and requested your presence to a judge named Henrik Renette. Who requested your all's appearance at his meeting hall. Yeah, that's it. Here you go. The The Judge Henrik Renette requires your presence as soon as possible at his meeting hall in the in the Gilded Esplanade. Excuse me, not espionage. In the Gilded Esplanade of Port Damali, where you are.
Well, I was getting bored here anyway. Let's see what happens.
Let's get to move on.
All right, very well. I'm assuming this is like from the same day as yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All
No,
right,
this is the next night.
Oh, the next night. Okay.
Yeah.
Which means
It's
I have
right
my new
now
spells.
midday. What?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I have my new spells.
Mm-hmm. So you can prep as you need it, or whatever. So it is around noon when this courier comes. Unfortunately, Miles and Windchime had left into the city early that night in search of something for dinner for everybody under the direction of Kajori, who doesn't really feel comfortable leaving the ship yet. So they're not here with you, unfortunately.
Is the messenger still here?
You can ask questions, yeah. He's
Do you,
just getting ready to turn away.
do you need the full party? Two of our members still aren't here.
I think that any amount should do. I don't have any more information than that.
Alright.
It's
Do you
not
have
meant
more
to
specific
stay.
directions? The Gilded Esplanade is a big place, as I understand it.
Well, not as
Oh,
big as all
oh.
of Port Damali, but yeah, it's a small city.
You can find his residence just about just around the base of the skyport.
Thank you.
Right here. Wait. Yeah. Right here. That's where he lives.
Sorry, Emily. Please give
Oh,
me
wait,
your
no.
directions through every single street of this massive city.
Also, I completely forgot that I'm supposed to be speaking in an old man's voice. Of course! Of course! I don't know. I'll find it.
Yeah, of course, young
Also,
boy.
I got way more into Brom's voice than I normally do.
Pazuzu!
Alright, guys.
Yes, let's carry on.
So
I suppose it would be rude to not attend, not bring us to his attendance and keep him waiting.
So the four of you quickly make your way to the Gilded Esplanade, just beneath the skyport. You see currently there is nothing leaving or exiting from the skyport. It seems to be a pretty clear sky, though. Big, long, towering spikes up in the air that occasionally hold big airships as they come down.
Whoa.
But that's
What are
not
those?
where... You saw them last time.
I know,
Well,
but I
there's,
didn't pay
starships.
much attention to them.
What, you've never seen a floating skyship before?
Oh, probably saw them last time, but this is the first time I've seen this up close.
I've
So
actually
I
ridden
didn't-
on them once or twice before.
How do they work?
It,
I mean, generally speaking, are these asking the DM here, are these skyships like basically giant blimps?
Blimps and ships and things like that.
I mean,
They're not like spelljammers. They're more
Yeah.
blimps, though.
I mean, typically speaking, whenever you heat something up, the density of it gets reduced and becomes lighter than the actual air surrounding it. Usually, when they heat up the air that's contained within those giant balloons that you see on top of those skyships, Those create buoyancy in a medium of air, allowing them to float.
Immediate.
What
attention
happens,
save.
Kira?
Like damage happens.
Brom's face scrunches up trying to understand it.
If
You can almost see physical smoke come out his ears as he fails to comprehend.
if you want to think of it this way, it shoots heat into the balloons, and hot air rises, making the entire balloon rise into the air.
What's all that stuff about density?
That's the technical explanation. It's all correct. It's just,
Complicated.
it's on a smaller scale.
Ah. Thanks. Don't see this kind of stuff on a farm.
Fair enough.
Well, we should be close to the courthouse then.
So you're not actually going to the courthouse. You're going to the judge's meeting hall. So as you come up to the excuse me. Oh my gosh. As you enter the building that it was previously specified by the courier, you enter a sunlit meeting hall of the Judge Henrik Renette. He sits in the meeting hall in his chair with his head in his hands, as he explains to you all. Excuse me. Are you all the group that I told me about on the ship that's rescued some members of Palma Flora?
That was some time ago, but yes, that's correct.
Good. My courier found you. My granddaughter was rescued by you that day. Aye, come out. You glance at him as he gestures for Aye to come out. You notice his big red beard and strong jaw. He's got normally you would assume that based on the painting of himself above, but he has a very tall and commanding presence. But he just looks crumpled right now, just like disheartened. But he beckons for Aye.
I believe that is where I enter.
Yep.
Okay. So, as I enter, you see a short female about the age of 17. She's got long, brown, wavy hair, a pair of circular, very slim-framed glasses. She is caramel brown skinned with blood red eyes. As she enters, you notice she is wearing a crop top that goes down her arms but leaves her neck and shoulders bare, and black sweatpants that get baggy towards the bottom. Yes, these are the travelers I was talking about.
Mm-hmm. I just desperately need to stop trying to eat chips. Because every time, like, somebody's quiet, like, I have just put a chip in my mouth.
So we don't hear it. We don't hear it on our phone.
I
Good.
hear it, but it doesn't sound like a chip crunching.
It sounds like a zombie crunching.
Weirdly enough,
Oh.
yes.
Crunchy zombies. Well
Yeah.
done,
So-
you.
Well done.
You see this old man, again sitting down. He's kind of he's partially like lounging back in that like overly regal way that people do, with like one arm up, one hand bent towards his face.
Do we have seats, or are we sitting? Or are we standing while he sits?
You're all standing.
Brom's gonna say. So, given by the way you addressed us, this isn't about the court hearings about the Wave Chaser. What is it about?
It's about my wife. She had, about 2 days ago, she had left for the other side of town for a masquerade ball. Well, just outside of town, I should say. For a masquerade ball. The new count had, well, his father had just died. And, what did I write down the count's name was? Hold on. Where is it? The new Count Brom Moldavia. His father recently died. And there was to be a sort of celebration for his, new comings. But she has not come back. Now, after I had told me about what you guys did for them on the Wave Chaser, I took a look about your comings and goings, and I saw that you have a hearing set for the next few days. An open case. I can't tell you much of one way or the other, but I can tell you that I do have sway. As I am also a judge, though not the one on your personal case. I might be able to convince somebody for a pardon of, like, one person of their crimes if you help me get my wife back. You notice as he mentions his wife's name, he kind of like, or not his wife's name, he mentions his wife, he kind of puts his head in his hands. That's where you all come in.
Are you...
Otherwise, I can give you the pardon, or 100 gold apiece for the 4 of you. Whatever most tickles your fancy.
I have a question. You know
Yes.
our cases, clearly, as you've looked into them. What are our chances, do you think, of each member?
Well, of the heroes, not the people who were on the ship, you all or the crew, you all should be more than fine. Legally, I can't see anything that you did wrong. In fact, you kind of went above and beyond in a lot of ways. As for the crew, depends on what their cases are. But I do have a little sway.
I appreciate this proposition. Could you perhaps give us further information regarding these counts and any possible information to help you get your wife back?
Well, make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Alrighty. Is it like any one of us, or is it just me?
You asked.
Fair enough.
Can you make it with advantage
Only if I enhance
with
my
the
ability.
rest of us helping him?
How were you going to help him?
I'm going to add in. We truly want to find your wife safe and sound. Any information about the case could help us get there faster, and time may be of the essence.
Perfect. 18. He says, yes, of course. I mean, I don't really have anything but rumors and speculation, to be honest. As you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but I'm stuck in this chair. Can you bring me my my wheelchair? He asks of I.
Right away, Granddad.
Shortly, I comes back around the corner, and I assume that you can help him / he can help himself into the chair, so he can roll around a little bit better. I lost my train of thought. He goes over to a desk of sorts sitting in the meeting room, but you notice now that it has no chair and that he can kind of just slide himself right in there pretty easily. And he pulls out from a drawer a map of Port Damali. And the surrounding area. In fact, the first thing you notice as he points to the location of the Count's Manor, it is outside of the city, in fact, and not within the city bounds. Probably a 3-4 hour walk. He says, here. The death of the former Count, Fortuno, Moldavia. To be honest, it was sudden and suspicious. I would have never even had Eleanor go to the ball if it wasn't for only her own sense of duty to the newly ennobled Count Brom. Unfortunately, especially now that Eleanor hasn't come home, I fear that Fortuno met his fate due to some sort of foul play. And the truth, whatever it may be, should be brought to light. But that's none of import to me. All I care about is Eleanor.
That estate is outside city limits.
I am aware.
I don't wish to violate our parole.
Don't worry, I can make it happen so that you guys won't have to worry about it. I'll write you guys a note so you guys can exit into the city at will. You're doing
Thank
me
you.
a task. No problem.
I mean, pertaining to the legalities of all of this, how legal is it?
Legal is what?
I mean, like this whole. I know you can probably allow us to freely exit and into the city, but I mean, going into another count's manor to retrieve your wife back, it's kind of. I don't know. Not all of this is sitting right.
We're not sneaking in there. You're going to see why my wife has not returned home.
Has
And
the
with
city guard
this is-
been... Sorry.
And with the way that Fortuno left, I I can't help but feel the worst.
I assume the
You-
city guard has already been notified.
It's too far away. Not within city limits. That's why I'm hiring you guys. Or asking for your help. Please.
I mean, would it?
Eleanor... Eleanor is my life.
Then we
That and
best not waste
I.
more time. Thank you for all of the information and for the passes out of the city and for dealing with our questions.
Just want her back.
I understand completely.
Aye. Honey. Could... I need you. I know we talked about this earlier, but I need you to go with them. I know you wanted to anyway, but now... I don't know.
Don't worry, sir. We'll make sure she's safe as well.
Now... He kind of glances up at Ai. You see, he's got a little bit of some, like, tears welling up in his eyes as he, like, turns away and, like, wipes his eyes.
I promise we'll find the truth, Granddad.
Okay, honey. The judge, spends just a few moments writing up a couple of things. One is a handwritten, like, note to the city guard, allowing you guys to pass for a special mission. He gives it a signature and his own stamp. And the second piece of paper he hands you is one that allows you all to get and borrow horses.
Oh shit!
To make your trek there. Excuse me. I think I said a 4-hour walk. I meant ride.
Yeah,
I think,
that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I got 3 or 4 hours walk.
So a 4-hour ride via horse.
God damn.
But yes. So you guys, I don't know, we're just kind of fast forwarding this to here. But you guys make your way to the city, to the front gates of the city. Well, the back gates. It's this gate right here. As you come to this gate, you guys pass your
Permits?
Yep. And they direct you to the large stables in order to rent some horses. You do have to sign a contract. Somebody has to sign a contract saying that you will return these horses unharmed or will be charged, I think it was 50 gold apiece.
Moonzic will sign for it as Cheem.
As you go off, the group of you makes a 4-hour trek to the
All right.
Give me just a second here. Is there anything you guys want to say or do while you guys are traveling? Because I need a second to prepare this page.
But do you think there would be any more particular benefits or rewards to reap if we investigate this further? I know we were solely tasked with retrieving the good judge's wife, but do you think that if we investigated this entire matter more, that some additional benefits might come out of passing information towards the law?
I can't imagine the Clovis Concord would be uninterested in the disappearance of a lord, but I think investigation is going to be the least we're going to have to do if we're even going to find the wife we're looking for. We're going to have to move quickly. I don't think we have time to start a full-scale investigation into one death if we're trying to find somebody still alive.
I agree. Do you think we should probably... I can't imagine that they would let us stroll in there and randomly start asking around the questions. Do you think we'd have to break into this place?
I disagree. They probably don't want any of the bad publicity that comes with a disappearance on their property. If they are hostile or they did something, they will let us in, if only to feed us misinformation. And if they are friendly, they will let us in to feed us proper information.
I mean, generally
Either way,
speaking, this
we
is
lose
the upper
nothing by
echelon.
walking in the front door.
I mean, either way, we're talking about the upper echelon nobles coming in from relatively wealthy upbringings. Those types of people tend to not allow commoners, to randomly waltz onto their estate, especially to pry and ask about personal matters regarding their everyday lives.
If it's
Of
the
course
upper
not.
echelons of society and wanting, and even if they don't want commoners, I'm not necessarily a commoner.
And
Hopefully,
we do
my name
have
is
the
one.
daughter, or the granddaughter, who is simply looking for her grandmother. She
This is true.
cannot be considered common, can she?
That is true. I mean, looking around now, looking around all of this, I quickly start to realize that Brom is probably the only one that's considered "quote unquote" can't pass for like an upper echelon type of person. Like Team Liam has an alternate identity. Edward comes from a relatively
Anemo?
wealthy noble
And
family.
yes, I come from the woods, therefore I am not.
I mean, I didn't get to hear you talk much. I didn't. Sorry, but
I have been sitting
I mean,
here and
if you
looking
want to-
pretty, alright? And it's
if you
part
want
of my
to, I
job.
can try my best to maybe spice up your appearance a little. Not sure.
I'm-
Invite us in as
I'm
adventurers
good,
under contract.
to be honest. I'm good. I
Don't
don't really need...
adventurers get special privileges? I've heard that before.
We could still pass as technically II's escort. That's what we were tasked to do. I mean,
Exactly. So why not go to the
Alright.
front door?
I take that little weird thing that's on my waist, right? Because I think you guys have seen my character.
Yeah.
He's got this
Yeah.
weird fucking fur thing around his waist. So I take some of it, just put it over my top hat as if it was like a shirt. You know, is this good enough? I don't really want to take any lessons from.
Hold on. Do we...
I mean, nice top hat. I'll give you that.
Have you ever met this count before?
You're talking to me? Absolutely not.
No, I said I.
Ah, sorry. I thought we were talking about the fact that we are. I mean,
We don't want to bring up the P word. I'm gonna whisper.
No.
I stopped myself.
No, I have not met this one yet. I've met quite a few, but this
it's
is not one.
So it's entirely possible that he would not be able to recognize you.
In any
They do
case,
ID here.
We need to ask all the questions we can. We're working off very little information.
Most likely not. I do not believe we have met in person yet.
Then then this should help in some ways if we wish to get inside. He might not even know your name. I'm not entirely sure. We could go under my name and he might recognize it, or we could go under yours and he might recognize it as well. We don't entirely know.
Oh, what's the problem with introducing you both?
I don't see why not.
Well,
He's got a point there.
the point is that they can't introduce both and say that the rest of you are escorts for one or the other. It's best to
I mean,
introduce.
I think
listen,
it's
there's
probably
3 of
best to uphold honesty and at least have I introduce her as herself. I mean, she is technically a local of this area. I'm sure somebody living in Port de Mali would have had their name be recognized by an estate so close to this city.
This is
we
probably true.
Probably had a better chance with her.
You are probably correct there.
I mean, otherwise we can probably state herself as either being her personal escorts or her servants, and we'd be able to get in.
Feels weird to call somebody around half my age a servant. A master.
Forever Padawan, never a master.
What are you talking
I mean-
about?
It's
What are those words you're speaking?
I don't know, I read it somewhere.
You can read? I'm
I
sorry, I
grew-
didn't expect that
You know-
from you.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I grew up in a monastery. This man's like, oh, you can read?
Although very interesting, we could always pass it off as hired escorts as well.
This is true.
Which is actually the most accurate thing that we could say. We have been hired to escort II.
there's technically no falsehood in that. We were hired with promise of either money or political leverage. Pardon.
Although we probably shouldn't say, yes, how much are you being paid? Oh, well, a little bit of political leverage per hour, Like, that's not-
Yes. Yes, we were bribed with the power of corruption.
If you don't believe
We
it
could
exists,
probably
check
just
privilege.
state that we were offered 100 gold piece each if that situation were to arise.
Even true under Zone of Truth.
Damn, Edward.
Anyway,
Back at it again with the truth.
Yeah, I was gonna
I mean,
Okay.
how long do we have until we get there? Because
I am currently setting that up. I'm so sorry. I really thought today has been fucking crazy, to be honest.
don't worry about
I
it.
haven't had a chance to do all the things that I needed to do. So,
I was just gonna say
We could take an
before
early
we
break
make it-
and
yeah, we could take an early
get
break.
food so you can set up.
Yeah. I was just gonna say before we make it half an hour before, I was going to cast augury, to sort of ask a little about the next situations. But that could be like, after the break when you have everything sorted.
Oh, we are gonna fake it.
So, break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right.
Okay.
In that case, it'll be early, but this will be the end of part 1. We will see you shortly for part 2.
Wow!